Hey, I'm Matthew Martin, the CEO of Two Candlesticks. Yeah, we're a full-service cybersecurity consulting firm. We work globally with, our main focus is small to mid-market companies. We want to provide a service that is a market that's been underserved for a long time. And we also work with developing countries, a lot of work in Africa. So I've had a passion about AI for a long time. For probably the last 4 or 5 years, I've gotten really heavy into it and trying to figure out how do we secure it. So everybody wants to use it. I saw a recent stat that 99% of developers are developing some kind of AI agent. But how are we actually making sure those things are secure, that it's safe to use in a corporate setting? So I'm here to learn and try to talk to people about what they're doing and how they're going about it, and then try to help people with making sure they're thinking about the right guardrails around their AI and how to implement it in the correct way. I think a bit mix, right? Because the bad guys will start to use AI in different ways that we aren't thinking about today. And so we'll constantly have to think about, okay, how are they using it? How do we defend against that? And so a lot of that is we have to use AI ourselves to defend against the attackers using AI. And then when we do that, we introduce a whole nother sort of risk vector of how do we secure the AI we're using to protect against the bad guys. And so it's the more people become aware of it and they understand how the AI works, then they can start to understand, okay, how do we protect it, right? And then the more it sounds like this magic thing, then people have a hard time figuring out how to deal with it. But the more it starts to become part of normal life, like when we first started using cell phones, people didn't know how to do it. And now it's normal, everybody understands it. And I think AI will be the same way, right? It's a really amazing thing, but our kids will grow up being used to it and it'll just be normal. And so I think the conversations will get more complex until they start to become more normal. Well, I think what you've seen is for the last 2 to 3 years, it's been an era of AI exploration. What can AI actually do? And I think now we've sort of seen an inflection point in 2025 where it's more of what are we going to allow it to do? And I think a lot of the conversations now are when we talk about like autonomous agents, how are we going to allow them to be completely autonomous without knowing what's going to come out of it? And what are we going to allow them to be autonomous with, right? Are we going to allow them to rebalance our portfolios, or are we just going to allow them to do marketing materials, right? Like there's a balance. It's somewhere in the middle where we're going to feel good about it. And the better we get at governance and putting the right guardrails around these agents, then we'll start to allow it to do more and more and more. But I think that's the biggest conversation I've heard around here is just like, okay, now we kind of have an idea of what it can do. How do we start to really use it, right? Because there was another study came out that said even though 99% of developers are doing something with an agent, 80% of organizations say that they've had no tangible benefit from using it. So that has to change, right? So a lot of that was exploring what can it do, and now, all right, we need to actually do something with it. And I think that's the biggest conversation is what do we do with this thing and what are we going to allow it to do?